Hi, welcome to Hello Agrarian by Dr. T. Pandiaraj. In last video, we discussed different types of Earth atmosphere, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. In this video, we are going to discuss ionosphere. In our Earth planet, X-rays and ultraviolet light from sun continuously colliding with the gas molecules and atoms in the Earth upper atmosphere. Some of this collision knocks the electron from atoms and molecules and creating electrically charged ions. You see, in upper atmosphere, in upper atmosphere, the high energy X-rays and ultraviolet light continuously collide the atoms and molecules. So it creating large number of electrically charged ions. So for example, suppose our earth atmosphere contain oxygen molecules. So what will happen, this X-rays and ultraviolet light hit the oxygen and it separate electrically charged oxygen and electron. So that means so this X-rays and ultraviolet remove the electron from molecules and creating electrically charged ions. Electrically charged ions means the electron removed from atoms. So for another example, suppose nitrogen. So what will happen? So this high energy light and ultraviolet light, so this nitrogen separate into electrically charged nitrogen and electrons. So these electrically charged ions and electrons behaves different than normal atoms and molecules. The ionosphere have three main regions called the D layer, the E layer and F layer. These regions don't have sharp boundaries and the altitude or height of this ionosphere vary during the course of day and night hours and from season to season. You see, the D region is the lowest one. It's starting about 60 or 70 kilometer above the ground, and this D regions extending up to 90 kilometers. Next higher is the E region. This E region starting at 90 or 100 kilometers from ground layer and extending up to 120 or 150 kilometers. And the uppermost part of the ionosphere, the F region. So this F region starts about 150 kilometer and it high as 500 kilometer above the surface of our ground layer. You see, the regions of the ionosphere are not considered separate layers such as the more familiar troposphere, stratosphere and mesosphere. Instead, they are ionized regions embedded within the standard atmospheric layer. The D region usually forms in the upper parts of mesosphere, while the E region typically appears in the lower thermosphere and the F region is found in the upper reaches of the thermosphere. The height, fraction of ionized particle and the existence of the different regions of ionosphere varies over the time. The ionosphere is very different in daytime versus night time. So height, fraction of particles and existence of ionosphere layer, it varies over the time. Okay, as we discussed earlier, during the daytime X-rays and ultraviolet light from sun continuously provide the energy that knock the electron from atoms and molecules and producing a continuous supply of ions and free electrons. So during day hours X-rays and UV light, okay, UV light continuously provide the energy. So this energy knock the electron from atom, producing continuous supply of ions and electrons. But in night hours recombination process, okay, recombination process takes over in the absence of sunlight. Okay, you see, during day hours whatever the atoms and molecules were ionized, all these things starts recombination in the absence of sunlight. Okay, so the number of ions drops. Okay, in night hours the number of ions drops. Okay, you see, during daytimes X-rays and ultraviolet light continuously provide the energy, so that knocks the atoms and gas molecules and produce more number of ions and electrons. Okay, whereas in night hours, because of no sunlight, the recombination process takes over. Okay, so what will happen? The number of ions will get decrease. Okay, number of ions will get decrease with no sunlight. Okay, you see, over the course of most night hours, the D region, okay, the ionosphere D region completely disappeared. So it is disappear. Okay, and the E layers, what will happen? It weakens as number of ions decreased drastically in the night hours. Okay, in next day morning, the solar X-rays and ultraviolet light returns. This D region and E regions are repopulated with ions. So regarding F layer, okay, so regarding F layers, during day hours this F layer existed as F1 and F2 layer, but in night hours this this both F1 and F2 layer, okay, both F1 and F2 layers stick into single layer as F layer. Okay, you see, the impact of ionosphere is large because This ionosphere affect radio communication signal, okay, affect radio communication signal. And another one thing, that the GPS satellite use signals to determine the location. The accuracy of GPS can be severely reduced as when those signals pass through ionosphere. Okay, so it affect GPS signal and accuracy. So this is all about ionosphere. I hope you understand about ionosphere layer. If you like this video, you like, share, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you.